after you get your carburetor apart, what you want to do is you want to have a little bottle of this carburetor cleaner right here. It's benzene or something like that. It's extremely flammable, but the next thing you want to get is get a pair of these glasses and wear them. Get 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, wear them. Because when you shoot this down into the carburetor hole problem, it will shoot it right back up in your eye. And it will shake hands with you. It is the most extremely painful thing, so you want to wear these glasses. So I'm just telling you from experience. I've done this 1,000 times. Okay. Now when I'm pretty sure I got these clean, I'm going to take my carburetor cleaner and I'm going to blow through them. Then I'll hold them up to the light. Now on your vent holes over here, okay, people think, well, they're vent holes, big deal. No, it's not. Okay, these vents are here for a reason. You cannot fill up a confined, sealed space with gasoline or anything else unless the air can escape. That's why they have these vents. The thing about the vents is that while your carb is sitting for 6 or 8 months, or whatever it is, a little tiny bug can crawl all the way in here and make a nest, and you don't know it. So what you want to do is you want to take this, there's 4 of them on this one. It's really, I love this bike. There's 4 vent holes. You want to take the end of it and blow into it and see if there's any obstruction. No. Check this one. No. Check this one. Nope. And the last one. Shit. Getting old. Okay. There's no obstructions. Then you want to look and make sure that your float over here, remember, all these carbs are exactly the same. Once you rebuild 1 or 2 of them, every one of these, it's the same thing. All you're doing is adjusting the airflow. You're adjusting the air-fuel ratio of 14:1, air to gasoline. The way you do it is your main jet comes in different sizes. The pilot jet really doesn't do with the adjustment. But the deal is that the little needle that sticks right down in here, the needle, that needle is specially tapered. Okay? It's tapered on the beginning, on the middle, and on the end. So it meters exactly how much gas is shot into this orifice right here. Let's see if I can turn it around. Right here. And it goes into your bike. Now if you are like up in the mountains, if you're in the Sahara Desert, if you're in Alaska, or if you're in the Amazon jungles, and suppose you're 98 pounds, all right? Well, that changes everything. Suppose you're 220, that changes everything. Suppose you're one of these Japanese racers that are absolutely amazing, and there's a whole bunch of those in Hawaii. I mean, they even have some bikes in Hawaii. They have one of these bikes. David Tobo was telling me that can outrun a 600RR. This, friends, whoops. This is a 600RR. 2010, it's only got 3,000 miles on it. Now, if he can build a bike, or he knows people that do, like this, that can outrun one of these, then that's absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'm going to clear all the holes out, put on my little goggles. I'm going to take my little toothbrush with a little bit of simple green right down here, which I have in here. And I'm going to clean up all the little parts. when you're cleaning up the parts, you may think, well, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. No, you don't. But if you clean up everything brand new, and 2 weeks later, something on the carb leaks, or some other weird thing happens, then you're going to know that you cleaned it up perfectly, and that leak is coming from somewhere it shouldn't be leaking. Now, this friend of mine did a lot of work helping me on my house because I'm really old, so I'm going to do all this comp. But he said I could put this on YouTube, and it's for him, but he said I can do it. So anyway, the next step is to slowly rebuild the carb after I get all my racing carbs off the table. All right, thank you.